Behind palace walls, tensions are brewing, and this time it's deeply personal. King Charles has reportedly confronted young Prince Archie in a moment that shocked even the royal insiders. Whispers of heated words, emotional fallout, and a family divide wider than ever have left the monarchy shaken. But what really happened during this secret meeting? How did a private family matter spiral into a royal scandal? And why is everyone saying this could change everything for Harry, Meghan, and Archie? Here's what you missed, and trust me, it's worse than you think. Prince Archie's lost crown. Prince Archie entered the world as a member of one of the most powerful and recognized families on the planet. As the son of Prince Harry and the grandson of King Charles, his lineage was steeped in centuries of British royal tradition. His birth should have been a moment of pure celebration, marking the continuation of a historic bloodline. Yet, from the very beginning, there was an air of uncertainty surrounding his place within the monarchy, an unspoken question about where he truly belonged. Unlike many royal children before him, Archie was not granted the traditional title of prince at birth. On the surface, this might have seemed like a minor deviation from protocol, but beneath the polished exterior of the royal institution, the issue became a source of tension and quiet controversy. His lack of title was not just a bureaucratic formality, it was a decision laden with significance, one that reflected deeper divisions within the royal household. For years, discussions about Archie's status simmered behind closed doors, creating an invisible yet undeniable rift between Prince Harry and his father, King Charles. While official statements from the palace maintained an air of neutrality, whispers of dissatisfaction and frustration grew louder. Harry, having already witnessed the scrutiny and hardships that came with royal life, had hoped for clarity and security for his son. However, what he encountered instead was resistance, bureaucracy, and a set of rules that seemed selectively applied. The tension that had been building for years finally reached its breaking point in a dramatic confrontation between father and son. What was meant to be a private discussion quickly escalated into a heated argument, one that would ultimately reshape the future of the royal family. Harry, fueled by years of grievances and the desire to protect his child, confronted King Charles with unwavering determination. The exchange was intense, raw, and deeply personal. Details of their conversation remain largely behind palace walls, but those who were aware of what transpired spoke of an emotional clash that left both men shaken. This was not just about a title, it was about legacy, identity, and the unspoken rules of the monarchy. At its core, the argument was a battle between tradition and progress, between the expectations of the past and the realities of the present. What followed in the aftermath of this confrontation would send ripples throughout the royal institution. Decisions were made, relationships were tested, and the very fabric of the monarchy was challenged. Prince Archie, though too young to understand the weight of these discussions, became a symbol of a changing era, one that questioned long-standing practices and forced the royal family to confront its evolving role in modern society. What really happened behind the palace walls? The truth is more complex than the headlines suggest, and its consequences will shape the monarchy for years to come. Let's take a look at how it all started. The omission that started it all. When Prince Archie was born on May 6, 2019, the world anticipated the usual royal fanfare. As the first child of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, he was not just another royal baby, he was a significant addition to the British royal family, holding a special place in the line of succession. Seventh in line to the throne, Archie was a direct descendant of one of the most influential monarchies in history. But despite the excitement surrounding his birth, there was something noticeably different. Unlike his royal cousins, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, Archie was not given the title of prince at birth. Instead, he was formally named Master Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, a choice that immediately raised eyebrows. Traditionally, royal children born into the direct line of succession are granted titles upon birth. So why was Archie treated differently? Initially, Buckingham Palace attributed this decision to an old royal decree. According to a rule established in 1917 by King George V, only the children and grandchildren of a reigning monarch were entitled to the status of prince or princess. Because Queen Elizabeth II was still on the throne at the time, Archie, as her great-grandson, did not automatically qualify for the title. On the surface, this seemed like a matter of historical protocol, just a technicality in the complex world of royal traditions. However, as people examined the situation more closely, inconsistencies began to emerge. If the 1917 rule was the reason, then why had Queen Elizabeth made an exception in 2012 for Prince William's children? Just before Prince George was born, the Queen issued a special decree ensuring that all of William's children, regardless of gender, would receive the title of prince or princess from birth. This meant that Prince George, born in 2013, Princess Charlotte, born in 2015, and Prince Louis, born in 2018, were all granted royal titles without question. So why was Archie treated differently? Why had no similar exception been made for him, despite his direct connection to the royal family? The more people questioned this decision, the clearer it became that this was not merely a matter of tradition. There was something deeper at play, something that couldn't be explained away by a century-old rule. As speculation grew, so did concerns about whether racial bias had influenced the decision. Meghan Markle, as the first biracial woman to marry into the royal family, had already faced intense media scrutiny and public criticism. Some began to wonder whether her son was being deliberately excluded from royal privileges. In interviews, Meghan and Harry later hinted at behind-the-scenes discussions about Archie's potential title, and even raised concerns about the implications of his mixed-race heritage within the royal household. What initially seemed like a small technicality soon became a global controversy, sparking debates about race, privilege, and tradition in one of the world's most famous families. The question remained: was Archie's missing title an innocent oversight, or a deliberate choice with deeper implications? Let's look into the secret talks about Prince Archie's future. Talks about Archie's future. In 2021, Meghan Markle sat down with Oprah Winfrey for an explosive interview that sent shockwaves across the world. The former Duchess of Sussex made several startling claims, but one revelation stood out. Her son Archie had allegedly been singled out in discussions about royal titles. According to Meghan, while she was still pregnant, private conversations were taking place behind closed doors at the palace. These discussions, she claimed, revolved around whether Archie should be granted a royal title. Under normal circumstances, once Prince Charles ascended to the throne, Archie would have automatically received the title of prince. However, Meghan alleged that there was an intentional effort to change the rules, ensuring that her son would never be given this status, even after Charles became king. The implications of this revelation were enormous. Was this just a bureaucratic decision, part of a broader restructuring of the royal family, or was something far more calculated at play? Meghan's words hinted at the latter, that this was not simply about tradition or protocol, but a deliberate move to exclude Archie and, by extension, his parents. The interview ignited fierce debate. Some believed that the decision was linked to Meghan and Harry stepping back from their royal duties. After all, the couple had chosen a more independent path away from the monarchy. Was this a consequence of that decision? A formal severing of ties with the institution? Or had there been an agenda all along to keep Archie from ever fully belonging within the royal fold? The controversy deepened as people questioned the motivations behind the palace's actions. If the move was merely procedural, why had no similar measures been taken with other royal children? And why did Meghan feel so strongly that the decision was targeted and personal? As the world processed these revelations, one thing was clear: Meghan and Harry's tell-all interview had cast a harsh spotlight on the inner workings of the royal family. It left the public with more questions than answers and fueled ongoing debates about power, privilege, and the future of the monarchy. Let's dig deeper into the mystery behind the prince's erasure, the quiet erasure of a royal child. The controversy surrounding Archie's royal title was only the beginning of a much larger puzzle. The circumstances of his birth raised even more questions, leaving the public and royal watchers speculating about what was really going on behind the palace walls. Unlike previous royal births, where the world eagerly anticipated an official announcement and the traditional hospital step photo, Archie's arrival was shrouded in secrecy. Typically, when a royal baby is born, the palace issues a statement immediately, followed by an appearance of the proud parents outside the hospital waving to the cameras. This was the case with Princess Diana and Kate Middleton, both of whom introduced their newborns to the world in carefully orchestrated public moments. However, when Meghan Markle went into labor, the palace did not follow this well-established royal tradition. Instead, they made the announcement only after Archie had already been born, an unprecedented move in modern royal history. Adding to the secrecy, there was no crowd of photographers, no press camped outside, and no heartwarming moment of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex presenting their child to the world. Instead, everything was controlled behind closed doors, fueling speculation about why this birth was handled so differently from others in the royal family. But the intrigue didn't stop there. Even the official paperwork surrounding Archie's birth raised eyebrows. When his birth certificate was finally released, people quickly noticed subtle but unusual discrepancies compared to those of his royal cousins. One of the most glaring details was how his father's name was recorded. Prince Harry, who is globally recognized as a prince, was listed as His Royal Highness Henry Charles Albert David Duke of Sussex. Oddly enough, the title Prince was missing, a strange omission for a man who had always been addressed as Prince Harry. The surprises didn't end there. Meghan's title on the birth certificate sparked even more confusion. She was listed as Princess of the United Kingdom, a designation that had never been formally used for her. Since marrying Harry, she had always been referred to as the Duchess of Sussex, not a princess. Yet here, on one of the most official documents of her son's life, the word princess appeared in black and white. The inconsistencies only deepened the mystery. Was this an intentional break from royal tradition, or was something more significant happening behind the scenes? Some believed that Harry and Meghan had chosen this path to protect their son's privacy, attempting to shield him from the pressures of royal life. However, others suspected that the couple was being subtly pushed further from the royal family. Every change in wording, every deviation from tradition, and every moment of silence seemed to point to a hidden reality. Archie was being treated differently, in a way no other royal child had before. Was this simply an act of defiance by Harry and Meghan, or was the palace quietly drawing a line between Archie and his royal heritage? Whatever the truth, one thing was clear. The story of Archie's birth was far from ordinary. Going by the rules, Archie should get a royal title as his grandfather ascended the throne. But he didn't. Why wasn't he given a royal title? What happened? Let's find out. The fight for Archie's place. For years, the quiet sidelining of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's children went largely unnoticed. But when King Charles took the throne in 2022, the matter could no longer be ignored. It had reached a breaking point. According to the royal decree issued in 1917, Archie and Lilibet, as the grandchildren of the reigning monarch, should have automatically been granted the titles of Prince and Princess. However, behind the gilded walls of Buckingham Palace, rumors swirled that King Charles was considering rewriting the rules, an unprecedented move that would ensure Harry and Meghan's children would never hold royal titles. If these whispers were true, the implications were significant. Stripping Archie and Lilibet of their birthright would sever their direct link to the monarchy, further pushing their parents to the margins of royal life. Was this a necessary step toward modernizing an outdated institution, or was it a deliberate effort to erase the Sussexes from royal history altogether? Tensions came to a head in a private confrontation between Prince Harry and his father, King Charles, a conversation unlike any the palace had witnessed before. Harry did not hold back. He wanted answers. Why were his children being treated differently? Why had his brother's children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, been granted their rightful titles while his own were left out? Why was the monarchy selectively choosing who belonged and who didn't? For Charles, the decision aligned with his long-standing vision of a slimmed-down royal family. In his eyes, maintaining a tighter, more cost-efficient monarchy was essential for its survival in the modern world. But to Harry, this was about more than practicality. It was about principle. To him, this wasn't just about titles. It was about recognition. It was about fairness. It was about ensuring that his children were not treated as less worthy simply because of who their mother was or because their parents had stepped away from royal duties. It was about whether Archie and Lilibet would ever truly be accepted as part of the royal family, or if they would be quietly erased from history. The outcome of that conversation remained shrouded in secrecy, but the implications were clear. The divide between Harry and his father had only deepened. This was no longer just a family dispute. It was a battle over legacy, identity, and the very future of the monarchy. There are speculations that Harry might have had some challenges with the royal family since his marriage to Meghan Markle, perhaps the reason why their son was deprived of the title. While they opted out of royal life, deepening the crises the more, the royal family might see no reason why Archie should be given the title as the rule states. Let's dig into the marriage and quest of independence of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The independence of Harry and Meghan. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's love story began in 2016 when the British royal and the American actress were introduced by a mutual friend. Their relationship quickly blossomed, capturing global attention. By 2018, they were married in a grand ceremony at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle, watched by millions around the world. Their union was seen as a modern and refreshing chapter for the British royal family. However, life in the royal spotlight proved overwhelming. The couple faced intense media scrutiny, with relentless press coverage invading their privacy. Their growing frustration, particularly with how the media portrayed them, led them to rethink their future within the monarchy. In January 2020, they made the groundbreaking decision to step down as senior members of the royal family, a move that shocked the world and was later dubbed Megxit. As part of their transition, they sought financial independence and hoped to establish their own brand, Sussex Royal. However, Buckingham Palace denied them permission to use the title, which became another source of frustration. Despite stepping back from royal duties, Harry retained his title as a prince and remained fifth in line to the throne. The couple also kept their Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles, but they could no longer use the honorific His or Her Royal Highness, HRH. Additionally, Harry had to relinquish his military titles, which had been a significant part of his identity. When Harry's father, Charles, ascended the throne following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, royal protocol dictated a change in the status of their children. Archie and Lilibet, who had previously not held royal titles, officially became Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet of Sussex. Seeking a fresh start, Harry and Meghan relocated to California in June 2020. They expressed a desire to create a more peaceful and private life, particularly for their son, Archie. Their daughter, Lilibet, was born there in 2021, cementing their new life in the United States. By 2024, their connection to the UK had significantly weakened. In April of that year, official documents filed with Companies House confirmed that Harry was now primarily a resident of the United States, rather than the UK. This formalized what had been evident for some time. The couple had fully embraced their new life away from Britain. Their physical ties to the UK were further severed when, in early 2023, they were asked to vacate Frogmore Cottage, their home on the Windsor estate. The Grade II listed property had been gifted to them by Queen Elizabeth II, but after their departure from royal duties, it no longer served as their official residence. From a fairy tale romance to a bold break from tradition, Harry and Meghan's journey has been one of love, controversy, and transformation. Their story continues to unfold as they navigate their new roles, striving to build a legacy outside the walls of the monarchy. The departure of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle from the royal family, which is also perceived as the betrayal of the royal family, deepened the royal rift, leaving scars that don't seem to leave anytime soon. This is also likely the antecedent of Prince Archie's deprivation of the royal title. Let's dig into the details of the situations created by the royal rift. A royal rift that left lasting scars. There are moments in history that define relationships, moments when unspoken tensions finally come to light, changing everything forever. For Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, one of those moments was the long and bitter struggle over their children's royal titles. In the end, King Charles did grant the titles of Prince and Princess to Archie and Lilibet. But by the time that decision was made, the damage had already been done. The battle had driven an even deeper wedge between the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and the rest of the royal family, reinforcing the painful reality that they were now outsiders, no longer a part of the monarchy's inner circle. For Archie, the young boy unknowingly caught in the middle of this royal storm, the future is filled with uncertainty. Unlike his father, who was raised within the gilded walls of Buckingham Palace, surrounded by royal traditions and expectations, Archie is growing up in a vastly different world, one far removed from the palace gates. He has a title now, a name that connects him to centuries of British history. But will that title ever truly grant him a place in the royal family? Or will he always be viewed as the child of the prince who walked away? The battle over his identity was never just about a name. It was about legacy, recognition, and belonging. It was about whether he would be embraced as a rightful member of the royal lineage or quietly sidelined, his connection to the monarchy gradually fading with time. For Harry and Meghan, the fight was personal, a struggle not just for their son's rightful place, but for their own dignity and respect. Yet the wounds left by this conflict run deep, perhaps too deep to ever fully heal. The monarchy has long been an institution built on tradition, hierarchy, and unyielding rules. When Harry and Meghan chose a different path, it was seen as a betrayal, a challenge to the status quo. Their departure, their tell-all interviews, and their open criticism of the royal institution created a rift that no title could mend. For the royal family, the decision to grant Archie and Lilibet their titles may have been a reluctant concession, a way to silence further controversy, but it did not erase the years of tension, the accusations of unfair treatment, or the sense of exclusion that Harry and Meghan felt. Instead, it served as a reminder of the ongoing divide, a divide that continues to shape the future of the monarchy. One thing is certain, this chapter in royal history has left an indelible mark, not just on Archie's future, but on the entire royal family. Whether time will soften these divisions or deepen them further remains to be seen, but the scars of this battle over identity and belonging will not be easily forgotten. What do you think about the confrontation between King Charles and Prince Archie? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.